Weather Extra starts now.
Welcome into First Alert Weather Extra. Chief Meteorologist Wes Wyatt, and we are, I believe here, Blake, if we could switch sources here on the monitor here real quickly. What we're looking at here on First Alert Weather headlines as we move into the next couple of days, we're going to be talking about scattered showers and thunderstorms lessening in coverage, more limited to the afternoon hours, and it looks like tomorrow we're probably going to have some of that wet weather around during the morning. Let's get to our headlines so we can show you here. First off, there's that 7-day forecast, and you can see the rain chance right around 40% for tomorrow. And notice how it backs off there on Saturday and mostly afternoon. Look at the temperatures there on the rise, upper 80s, low 70s. Next week, Wednesday into Thursday, rain chances dropping off. The talk is out there. A lot of folks asking me on social media, what is happening in the tropics? No hurricanes, no tropical storms, no tropical depressions at the moment, but we are watching a couple of tropical disturbances that are in the Caribbean and way out in the Atlantic. We'll keep an eye on those at this point. If you have a trip planned this weekend, no threats there along the Gulf Coast. We have some models throwing out some wild solutions, and a lot of this information gets shared out there on social media. And just to let you know, if you see anything about a hurricane right now, no hurricane expected to impact the Gulf Coast this weekend, just some scattered areas of rain. Now, there's going to be some showers and storms, just like what we're tracking right now as we go to First Alert AccuTrack radar. We've had some heavy rain moving through the Birmingham area, a little bit of lightning around Arkadelphia, tracking back towards Highway 69, and some rain around Concord, but where it's raining, it's very localized, but it's pouring in those spots. It didn't take long. Notice that flood advisory there around Birmingham. In a matter of just an hour or so, we picked up 2 to 3 inches of rain. It was one of those setups where if the rain would have stayed there, we would have had some big problems in a hurry as the showers started to intensify into some locally heavy downpours. A little bit of rain around Childersburg. Things pretty quiet across East Alabama. I think for the overnight and into the day tomorrow, it looks as though the chance for a few of those showers, as I mentioned, will be around during the morning for the start of the day. We have flood watches to the south, which will actually expire here at the top of the hour, but we've been tracking a little bit of that wet weather down into the southern part of the area where we picked up 4 to 5 inches of rain, and that's where we're concerned about flooding if we do get some heavy downpours. But you can see tonight rain chances do back off again later this evening as temperatures fall into the 70s. But we'll get back to that 7-day forecast, show you more on the weekend next week, and I'm working on some new data right now. I'm going to show you the big picture as far as the Atlantic Basin and what some of the long-range models show going into next week. So that's going to be interesting to look at here coming up in a few moments. Right now, I want to bring in our friend JP Dice. And JP, it's good to see you. And hey, great to have you back on the team here with us at WBRC.
Yeah, Wes, good to be here, and yeah, it's fantastic. You're seeing the home studio. We moved to a new house 6-7 months ago, and actually built out a little studio here in the upstairs, which is pretty cool to do things like this.
Well, you know, it's like we said, you still, hey, you got to watch the weather when you're a pilot, right? You got to keep a close watch on what's happening there. You've been passing along a lot of updates, JP, and I know we've been talking a lot about really contributing, doing a lot of weather analysis for us here in the First Alert Weather Center. And I noticed some of the updates you were posting yesterday. You were flying, and you were telling me you were actually flying in some of that heavy rain that moved from Mississippi down into South Alabama. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, we know that stalled out front has really been the focus for the rain, and a lot of that's been setting up to the south of Birmingham, all along the Gulf Coast. I was talking to some of the folks there around the Mobile area, and they said 54, 55 straight days that they have seen rain. Been one of the wettest seasons down in South Alabama. Interesting point you made earlier. You were talking about the tropical type setups. And you get out there on social media and you start to see those what we call deterministic model runs being shared out there. The GFS model, for example, goes out 384 hours. So when it goes out farther in time, you tend to have more model error. And some of those posts out there showing big hurricanes or tropical systems impacting the Alabama Gulf Coast sometime around Labor Day. You got to take that stuff with a grain of salt. There's a lot of error in those models that far out. By comparison, European models not really showing that. So don't cancel plans. Wes had great advice there, but do stay close to weather information. We're moving into September. September is the peak, the climatological peak of the Atlantic hurricane season. So you get up there around September 10th to be exact. and that's when historically, go back 50, 60 years, when you do see more of those tropical systems develop. And we've been watching that Saharan dust layer. That's starting to scoot off a little bit more to the north, so that has been keeping the tropical systems at bay, at least a little bit west.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting today. I was noticing on the social media feeds, it's the anniversary of Andrew, Harvey, Katrina, you know, all these hurricanes, because as you note, this is the peak of the Atlantic hurricane season. But a lot of these global models, JP, I posted on Facebook earlier this week, especially the GFS model is notorious. I know it was recently upgraded. They call it the FV3, the latest version rendition of that model. But when you're looking at 13-kilometer grid boxes that model resolves, and you start looking at the convective processes within those boxes, that model sometimes struggles with those convective processes, and it often shows, you and I have talked about, you end up, even early in the hurricane season especially, you often see in the long range, you see these massive hurricanes out there, and it just gets shared all over social media.
Yeah, you know, that used to not be a thing until social media came about. Now we have so many people that have these websites or Facebook pages that deal with meteorology. That's not necessarily a bad thing, but it's a bad thing when some of that is shared without having a level of context, and people take that and they share it again, and folks end up canceling plans or getting all alarmed about something that very much may not even end up happening. So models are models. And they do have some significant error when you go out in a longer period of time. You're trying to forecast out. One thing that we talked about, and Wes, you've been dealing with some of that this week. You've been with the National Weather Association doing their conference virtually, and there's a big push from going to from deterministic type weather models to more ensemble type forecasting that would give us a better accuracy than just picking one random model run out there and showing it. So I think over the next several years, we're going to start seeing a lot more of that on television and on the internet, or wherever you get your weather information.
Yeah, you're going to see more of a unified forecasting, and you're already seeing a lot of the models and a lot of the proprietary products like the BAMS model that we utilize. A lot of those are based off of some of those deterministic models as well. So hopefully, you know, we'll start to see even more ensemble products and a lot of the systems that we utilize, you know, to deliver weather information, which of course we have access to that data when we do our forecasting and analysis, but we'll see more and more. It's always good, I guess, to have multiple models, and you see that a lot, you know, when we show the spaghetti plots, you know, the cones of uncertainty with tropical tracks.
Oh, you bet. And what's going to be nice over the next several years, and I think our weather vendors are listening to this, folks at Barron and Huntsville, or IBM that handles the other weather computers that are there in the First Alert Weather Center. I think more of those products, more of that data is going to be out there and being able to be used on television to really paint a better picture of what's going to happen in the future. So the word of advice, be careful with kind of some random posts out there. Some of that's legit. There's some good sites out there, but there's also some that aren't so good, and they're more after the likes and clicks and follows and all of that for perhaps the wrong reasons. So be a good consumer of weather information. Of course, the First Alert Weather Team, always a good source of that weather information. Lots of folks feeding into that and providing updates on the First Alert Weather app and also on our social media sites as well. But this is the season, and we're starting to see things at least hint at cranking up a little bit in the tropics. And also something to remember, it's been fairly quiet right now. That water is warm. It hasn't really been disturbed, so once things do fire up, I think you'll see kind of one system right after another. It may be for another 2-3 weeks from now before that happens, but I do think it's going to get a lot more active.
JP, glad to have you back, and hey, I love the setup you have there. That's nice.
You need to come out here and see it in person. I bought a new camera today.
Yeah.
We've got, it's a nice little studio set up here, and lots of weather computers that I already had in use anyway. So it's nice to be able to engage with you guys on a regular basis.
Yeah, we're going to check back in with you, and of course, we always appreciate all the information. If you haven't already, be sure to follow JP. Keep up with JP. He's sharing a lot of information. He has access to the computers here in the Weather Center, and JP's part of the team here. So we're going to be sharing a lot of information and checking in from time to of time. Good luck out there, JP. We'll be back in touch with you. Appreciate you joining us here on First Alert Weather Extra today. We have more to come. I mentioned we're going to check in looking at some of those models on down the road with respects to the tropics and what's coming up. Meteorologist Jill Gilardi will be coming up. She's going to have updates on beyond the 7-day, what we're seeing in the long range. We've got some specialty forecasts and more on that flooding that's been impacting the region as we continue on First Alert Weather Extra.
When 6 on Your Side investigates, the issues that directly impact you matter most to us.
That's why we're getting answers on rising prices and how you can save some money.
And being another set of eyes looking out for your kids and your family.
Getting to the bottom of health and billing issues that may be hidden in the fine print.
How events nationwide are affecting you here at home.
WBRC Fox 6 is always here on your side, ready to help. This is why 6 on Your Side investigates.
These are your mornings, and Good Day Alabama is built to start them right. The only station staying local on all platforms all morning long. In your community, giving you a deeper perspective with the largest team dedicated to you. Showing new stories from overnight, helping you get through your day. With First Alert Weather and traffic, getting to the point, not wasting your time. These are your mornings. Prepare for a good day. Prepare with Good Day Alabama.
When moments turn severe, how do you find clarity?
This is your First Alert from the WBRC Fox 6 weather team. We're with you as we prepare for this threat.
In a season of constant change, when you need to know first, when you need to prepare, only one team gives you the first alert wherever you are. A trusted team staying ahead of what's next in your neighborhood. Stay alert. Stay with the First Alert Weather Team. Live, new, and on your side, beginning at 9 p.m. In a day filled with clutter and noise, WBRC Fox 6 News breaks down what you need to know before anyone else. With new updates, live and on the scene, answers for your money and your livelihood, with 6 on Your Side investigates. And your first alert for the hours and days ahead with the WBRC First Alert Weather Team. On your favorite platforms every night. WBRC Fox 6 News at 9 and 10. On your side.
Welcome back to First Alert Weather Extra. I'm First Alert Meteorologist Jill Gilardi, and the talk today in terms of flooding has been across southern Mississippi, even into parts of South Alabama, and the area hit hard earlier this morning was in the Biloxi area. They had a lot of rainfall. We're talking about some areas 4 to as much as 6 inches. Here's how that rain impacted travelers. You can see folks trying to drive through the floodwater, as we say. Don't do that, to turn around and avoid either your car or vehicle stalling out or maybe even getting pulled away in the flooding water. So again, that is just one example of these incredible rainfall amounts we've been seeing over a short period of time in many cities so far this summer. I mean, it's like every other day it's a different city. It's Dallas one day, it's Biloxi, it's one day, it's close to Jackson, Mississippi near Meridian another day. So it is unbelievable. But of course we had drought and now we're getting rain, and so it is helpful at some times. And for more on the drought update, we go to meteorologist Matt Daniel.
All right, we just got the latest information from the drought monitor earlier this morning. I want to show you those updates. Also want to show you what's happened over the 5 days that can actually influence the latest update from the drought monitor. And you can see where it's been raining a lot. We've had that stalled boundary across the south for several days, had flooding in parts of Dallas, and then we had flooding happening in parts of Louisiana and Mississippi, and even some of our southwestern counties. So it has been extremely wet. You start seeing those pinks and purple colors. We're talking about rainfall totals between 5 to 10 inches of rain. Relatively dry though as you go to the northern plains, and pretty dry and parts of the western parts of the country. So what's happened with the drought monitor, you ask? Well, let's go ahead and show you that right here. So here's the latest update. We have seen some improvement, but of course still dealing with drought conditions across Texas and across the plains. But notice the eastern half of the country, not too bad at all. So we'll zoom on in and you can see across the state of Alabama, drought-free pretty much. Maybe some abnormally dry conditions developing in some of our eastern counties, St. Clair, perhaps Talladega and Calhoun County. It's been a little bit drier there over this past week or so, and we're still dealing with abnormally dry to even severe drought in parts of northeastern Mississippi. But like I was just saying, not too bad, just abnormally dry conditions out to the east. Texas, of course, has been dealing with severe drought. This is what it looked like on January 4th, beginning of this year. The drought was starting to intensify. It was really bad last week, and here's the latest update. And you can see where it's rained a lot, especially in the northern portions of Texas. They definitely have seen some improvement. So they went from exceptional and extreme to that moderate to severe levels. So unfortunately, they had rain fall pretty much in a short period of time. You'd rather have it stretch out over several days. Here's a zoom in of some of the rainfall totals we've seen over the past 5 days. You can see the western half of the state has definitely seen a lot more rain than the eastern half. Zooming up to the north, and of course this is not including the rain that we could see that we've seen today, but notice up towards the north, not as much. In Coleman, maybe half of an inch of rain over the past 5 days. Not as much in the way of rainfall in the Gadsden area, but we've seen some heavier amounts a little bit farther to the south, the northern parts of Jefferson County and the eastern parts of Walker County and in and around the Smith Lake area. We've seen a couple of inches of rainfall there. Also seen a bullseye in northern parts of Tuscaloosa. Nearly 6 inches of rain has fallen. But then as you go south of Tuscaloosa, we've really seen those totals add up. In around Shelby County into Jefferson, a couple of inches. Higher totals in around the Hoover area. And then as we zoom up towards the south, of course, the heaviest rain has been in our southwestern counties, parts of Sumter, Green, Hale counties. 5 to 10 inches of rain has fallen over the past 5 days. So it's been pretty wet, especially for the western parts of the state. So here's a look at the average rainfall we normally see in August. Could still add another couple of inches to get to that near average area for Birmingham. Tuscaloosa, though, you've seen a lot of rain. In fact, you picked up most of your month's worth of rainfall over this past week. But like I said, in Anniston, staying dry. Of course, we'll have more opportunities for rain, especially as we go into next week. And we'll have another update of the drought monitor next Thursday.
Thanks for that, Matt. Well, it's certainly been a weather whiplash for many folks across the country, from extreme drought to then, the flash flooding. We had it across parts of Arizona, across parts of Texas, and for much more than that, we send you to this.
Dramatic moments like this are what scientists call climate whiplash.
This has been a summer of hydroclimate extremes with pretty wild swings between drought on the one hand and flood on the other.
St. Louis, Dallas, and most of Kentucky saw unusual dry spells in early July, then devastating floods swamped communities. The same thing happened in Yellowstone. And in China, the world's third longest river, the Yangtze, is drying up a year after deadly flooding, revealing Buddha statues believed to be 600 years old. Rivers are shrinking in Europe, too, as the continent bakes in record heat. Last year, countries were dealing with unprecedented flooding. Scientists say it's the impact of climate change at work.
As the temperatures increase, the water vapor holding capacity of the atmosphere increases exponentially,
giving a weather system more water to dump, triggering downpours. Experts say there's one way to stop the whiplash.
The Earth is warming because of the carbon we're emitting into the atmosphere. The Earth will essentially stop warming almost immediately when we stop putting that additional carbon into the atmosphere.
Until then, researchers say climate change will stay on a destructive path, carving out a changing landscape. Tina Kraus, CBS News, London.
A lot more to talk about, like the tropics, beyond the 7-day, and so much more. Stay with us.
West Shore Home is America's leader in shower and bath remodeling. And today I'm joined by Kirsten from West Shore to talk remodeling and why you should consider starting your project now.
So Joe, we know how stressful it is to get a new bath or shower installed. So at West Shore Home, we make it fast, easy, and now even more affordable to get your shower or bath project.
Well, we know how you're making the projects fast and easy with the one-day installation, but how are you making things more affordable when the price of everything else seems to be going up these days?
So we know that we've had a rough few months with gas prices higher than normal and monthly budgets getting tighter. That's why we want to help everyone out. Right now, for anyone who calls in, we'll do free installation on all shower and bath projects. And on top of that, you can save your money and put it towards other bills because we're doing 18 months of no payment and no interest financing. That means you don't have to make your first payment until 18 months after your installation is complete.
So with that financing plan, people can stay flexible with their money while getting the shower bath they need now. That's super helpful.
It really is. We know that this is a busy time of the year for people, so you really should leave the stress of remodeling a bath or a shower to the experts. With our 18 months, no payments, no interest financing plan, that combined with our one-day installations, West Shore Home really is the best solution for your bath or shower remodeling.
Now, Kirsten, for somebody interested in starting their project now, what would be their first step?
So give us a call and we'll schedule an appointment at a time that's convenient for you. You'll see hundreds of customizable options that will bring new life to your bathroom. At the end of that appointment, we'll give you an exact price that's down to the penny, good for an entire year.
Wow, so even if you're not ready to get that shower project started now, you can lock in that price and not have to worry about any price increases for a full year.
Absolutely.
Wow, Kirsten, thanks so much. Folks, call West Shore Home now and take advantage of their Labor Day sale. It's free installation on all shower and bath projects, plus 18 months of no payments and no interest financing. Call West Shore Home now.
All warm, humid weather, a lot of clouds across the state right now as we go to First Alert AccuTrack radar. Just a couple of pockets where we have some rain and it's pouring in these areas. Maybe a rumble of thunder out there. Temperatures today, as we talked about, a little bit hotter. We had 80s across the area, and that's one of the reasons why we had a couple of pop-ups this afternoon and evening. But looking at the forecast data, next couple of hours, still could be a little bit of rain hanging on through 8, 9 o'clock. And then as we get closer to midnight, most areas, again, still dry out there. Some clouds, lows in the 70s. Tomorrow's another day where we could run into some rain before lunchtime. So watch out for that early on, giving you the first alert as the day goes on. Get a little bit of sun breaking through those clouds by late morning into the early afternoon, and then we'll have some more pop-up showers and storms. Again, very localized. We don't see a large area of rain covering the state tomorrow. There'll be plenty of breaks for our Friday. And again, feeling kind of soupy like today with the temperatures, rising into the 80s, dew points in the 70s. That is a prime time recipe for some very muggy conditions. Now I'm talking about the muggy meter is off the charts right now, and that's what we're going to be dealing with for our Friday and then to Saturday. Not the best hair day. Looking at, again, maybe a few pop-up showers out there for tomorrow, and then for Saturday and Sunday, it looks like the wet weather is more limited to the afternoon. So you have plans Saturday morning, want to go do a little fishing, do a little work in the yard. I think early on it's going to be humid, warm, but a better chance Saturday afternoon, again, for some of those showers. I'll show you the 7-day coming up. Want to jump quickly into what's happening in the tropics, and we're about to check in with Jill. We're going to have more on this, but a lot of talk out there, as we noted at the top of the show, about the possibility of a tropical system. You're always going to hear a lot of talk about tropical weather this time of year because this is the peak of the Atlantic hurricane season, and just yesterday we were talking about the anniversary of that Category 5 Hurricane Andrew that struck South Florida. And with the setup like what we have across the southeast right now, if we had any tropical system that tried to form over the Gulf of Mexico, it would really have a difficult time. We're not in a favorable setup, at least across our region right now, across the southeast, but we're seeing a series of waves that are tracking across the Caribbean and then towards the Gulf. There's one disturbance. You see that right there off of Texas? It's not a tropical low or a tropical storm, but this model in particular suggests that bit of energy can move north late in the weekend, and we bumped the rain chance up Sunday night and into Monday just because of that disturbance showing up. This is the American model. This model in particular has been rather robust in trying to generate a tropical system and on out there, which it often does, and really nothing to buy into at the moment. But as we get into next week, you can see it's picking up on this tropical wave that we're tracking moving across the Caribbean. Need to watch it over the next several days, but it looks like it's moving towards the west direction. Jill's about to show us what some of that very long range data shows, but you can see the Hurricane Center kind of watching this region region here as that system moves to the west. If you have a trip planned for this weekend, not expecting impacts for this weekend. The chance of development is low. On down the road, we need to watch what happens out here across the eastern Atlantic. We're watching an easterly wave, and there's one out here that's near the equator, and just where it's located right now, sometimes these tropical systems, they can form so far south they can't spin. So that might be a weakening factor at the moment, as well as some dry air. We're still seeing some of that Saharan dust that's making its way out into the far eastern Atlantic, but the European guidance, some of the ensemble data, does paint a good chance that this could become a tropical depression over the next 5 days. So this is one we need to watch. It's still over a week out, if anything, from the Gulf region. Not expecting any direct impacts at this time, but that is one system we need to keep our eye on over the next several days as that makes its way across the Atlantic basin. But our 7-day forecast, again, we backed off that rain chance a little bit for Saturday and Sunday. Still could see some scattered afternoon storms, highs in the upper 80s, feeling hotter, and those scattered storms you can see will be with us right on through Tuesday and Wednesday of next week. But I want to bring in meteorologist Jill Gilardi. And Jill, we were talking about some of that data and that tropical wave. There's several disturbances out there in the Caribbean, over in the Atlantic, so it will be kind of interesting to see how this all unfolds here over the next 14 days.
Yeah, and just looking at one model each day, you know, we just are trying to look for some sort of trend. Of course, the ensembles are even better to look at, but not something we can display for you like we can this GFS model. Now, a few days ago, we had, you know, it showed a major hurricane hitting the Gulf Coast. Okay. And then yesterday it had just a weaker area of low pressure. And now today it has a system that's trying to develop something tropical around the 3rd and the 4th and then sends it into Mexico. So again, you're kind of getting the gist that, okay, we'll have to watch certainly the Caribbean and the Gulf as we get a little bit beyond the 7-day. There could be something that could develop. That's as much as we can tell from this data. Okay. And then it also wants to still hint at maybe new formation across the Caribbean. And again, it's showing all variety of things, all different types of systems trying to spin across the Atlantic. So again, we're getting into that time of year that eventually we're going to have something likely form. And where it forms, it is impossible to know this far out. Again, looking beyond the 7-day, we just kind of look for any trend, and we have certainly seen indications that it might become active. That's as far as we can go at this point in time. And with more rain across the southeast, that will mean our rainfall amount could trend above average. And then with more rain and clouds, hey, we could see below average temperatures. Not complaining one bit about that. Wes?
All right, we're going to check in on the forecast. I know we've been talking about no direct tropical impacts along the coast this weekend, but still could be some wet weather. We'll update you on that beach forecast. Mickey checks in after the break. Stay with us.
When 6 on Your Side investigates, the issues that directly impact you matter most to us. This is why 6 on Your Side investigates.
These are your mornings, and Good Day Alabama is built to start them right. The only station staying local on all platforms all morning long. Prepare for a good day. Prepare with Good Day Alabama.
When 6 on Your Side investigates, the issues that directly impact you matter most to us.
That's why we're getting answers on rising prices and how you can save some money.
How events nationwide are affecting you here at home.
WBRC Fox 6 is always here on your side, ready to help. This is why 6 on Your Side investigates.
In a season of constant change, when you need to know first, when you need to prepare, only one team gives you the first alert. A trusted team staying ahead of what's next in your neighborhood. Stay alert. Stay with the First Alert Weather Team.
When 6 on Your Side investigates, the issues that directly impact you matter most to us.
Being another set of eyes looking out for your kids and your family.
This is why 6 on Your Side investigates.
Live, new, and on your side. Beginning at 9 p.m., WBRC Fox 6 News breaks down what you need to know before anyone else on your favorite platforms every night. WBRC Fox 6 News at 9 and 10. On your side.
When 6 on Your Side investigates, the issues that directly impact you matter most to us.
That's why we're getting answers on rising prices and how you can save some money.
This is why 6 on Your Side investigates.
How will the weather impact your roads? The First Alert Weather app has live traffic updates and road conditions for a safer commute. This is why we First Alert.
WBRC Fox 6 News, on your side.
Hey, let's get started here with a beautiful sunset view from Logan Martin Lake. Donna Sorensen sent this in, and just absolutely gorgeous. You can see the sunset and reflecting off the water. If you're headed to the lakes or rivers going into tomorrow, got about a 40% chance of getting wet. So look for temperature readings to warm up, though. We're getting into the upper 80s again, and we're going to start to see those feels-like temperatures reach close to 100 degrees. Moderate rip current threat at the beaches. If you're headed down there, Gulf water temperatures at 85 degrees. It has cooled off 1 degree from last month, but still getting those scattered showers there. This shows going into Friday. Hit and miss. There'll be periods of time where you can see, some sunshine, or at least it won't be raining where you are. But still, as we get into the next few days, we're looking at a decent rain chance at about 0.8 of an inch in Mobile. Maybe another inch and a half could fall between now and then. So scattered showers at the beaches, so be ready for it. Smoky Mountains forecast. If the beach isn't your thing, if you want to head to the mountains, well, we have the same basic forecast there as we have here at home. 30 to 40% chance this weekend, scattered showers going into next week. And if you want to take our weather with you as far as our forecasts are concerned, it'll let you know based on the proximity to your mobile device what the weather's like. You can check it out there and also share some pictures with us. So we've got weather on the go available to you at your fingertips.
All right, and keep an eye on that First Alert weather app. Still a little bit of rain out there. We'll have radar updates, the full 7-day forecast, and more on the tropics in your First Alert weather tonight. Join us at 9, 9:30, and 10 on WBRC Fox 6 News.